How's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome back to another online battle. Today we are back on Attila Total War, playing the Ancient Empires mod, which goes ahead and brings the engine of Attila Total War into the ancient world. And today we kind of have like a what if scenario. What if instead of Carthage fighting Rome and, you know, conquering many settlements in Spain, they decided to go east, smash the Egyptian Empire, and then face off against the Seleucid Empire. So it should be a really exciting battle. We have the Seleucids defending and the Carthaginians attacking with a whole range of units. We have some elite infantry, you know, the Sacred Band obviously being a pretty notable one. We also have elephants who are going to run amok through the city itself, and then obviously the Seleucids have lots of elite archers and pikemen ready to hold these streets. So as I said, it should be a really exciting battle. I can't wait to see how this one turns out. I also love the fact that we are using army escalation as well in this replay. I think that's really cool. It just makes the battlefield seem so much more alive and like the city has actually been under siege, and there's maybe been skirmishes here, there and everywhere. So what we'll do is we'll run through quickly kind of what people are bringing and then jump in. I'm going to miss some units. This isn't going to be the exact army comps. I just want to kind of let you guys know roughly what people are bringing. So we'll start off with the Carthaginian forces. Oh yeah, I should mention as well, if you guys want to be a part of these battles, play, you know, Attila, Ancient Empires, if you want to play Medieval Kingdoms, Warhammer 2 custom maps, make sure to join my Discord. This is a Discord submitted replay, so massive thank you to them guys who played this battle. And if you want to be a part of these battles, do make sure to join my Discord. The link will be in the description down below. So, looking at the forces of Carthage, we see we have a ballista out here looking to obviously make a hole in the Seleucid wall. We also have some mercenary Ligurian warband. You know, these are obviously going to be soldiers from Spain which have been brought into the Carthaginian army. Back here we have some more sacred band of the late period, so some super elite sacred band hiding currently in the tree line, trying to, you know, deceive the Seleucid Empire, making them think like they don't have as many men here as they do. We also have some of the Sacred Band Cavalry, again of the late period, so again really heavy horsemen. If they can break through the walls and kind of, you know, get into the city, it's going to be pretty devastating. Then as we go over to the main bulk of the Carthaginian army, we have some mercenary Celtic warband. We also have some African elephants. These guys again looking pretty brutal. If any of these guys can get into the back ranks of the pikemen, it's going to be over. We then have some more Sacred Band pushing up the artillery, more of the Ligurian mercenary warband. We also actually have some Celtic warband as well, again mercenaries, which is something I really like about the Carthaginian army. A lot of it is just these mercenaries making up the strong points of their infantry. Then for the final assault, we have some more of these Saracenian archers, along with some more, you know, Ligurian warband looking to break through on this side. We do actually have a breach as well on this side of the wall, and a lot of this wall is actually pretty destroyed as well. You know, one catapult hit will break down this part of the defense. Then if we look at the forces of the Seleucids, we have some of these mercenary Thoraxtii, I think is how you pronounce that. We also have some silver shields. These guys are pretty notable. Then as we continue to make our way along the battle line, we do have some more bronze shield pikemen. They're going to be supported by some of these Pharansian military settlers, looking awesome. I love their Falx weapons. They just look like a really kind of well-oiled unit right here. Very effective at breaking the heavy armor of like the Sacred Band. It's going to be definitely a hard-hitting unit. We also have some more of the silver shields for Thoraxtii. Again, I'm probably butchering it, but it looks cool. We also have some mercenary javelins right there. Some more pikemen over here. Some silver shield pikemen. We'll go ahead and zoom in and get a nice little look at them really quickly. And we'll just let it play on slow-mo whilst we finish up this, so we, you know, get right into the action. So yeah, we have some really cool looking silver shield pikemen right here. Love the way it just glimmers off their shields. Really cool. Then finally, as we go over here, we have some elephants sitting along. Some Indian elephants this time. They've imported these guys. So both sides bringing some pretty brutal defenses. Then for like the final stand, the more elite units, we do have some of these Hispastius of Agman. Really cool. Definitely a nice hoplite unit. We also have some more of a royal, oh my god, a royal Galatanian guard. Whew, these guys look badass. I love their helmets. That's really cool. Okay, the Seleucids have a pretty hefty defense in that last stand. They also have a ballista, as well as more elephants over on this left side. And then obviously they have more men scattered throughout the battle itself. But sorry, that was a really long intro. Let's just go ahead and jump straight into the battle. I guess we'll start off by watching these siege equipment being pushed up. And I wonder if the forces of Carthage are going to be focusing their elephants right through this position at the get-go. Are they going to be pushing up all their soldiers straight through the breach at the beginning of the battle or not? Also, please keep in mind that it's going to be a little bit laggy. We have, what, 15,000 units on the field of battle pretty much. So it's going to be pretty laggy at the beginning of the battle, but it should hopefully clean up. And I wanted just to have like a really epic battle to get back into Ancient Empires. But going forward, we will try and kind of minimize the unit size. Because yeah, as you can see, some of these infantry units do have 240 men in them units, which is pretty crazy. Really is. Luckily though, it's not too bad. Whatsoever. No, this is fine. It's a little bit laggy here and there, but you know, we're still getting 60 FPS on the computer. It's just the game kind of struggling a little bit. So the archers are going to be kicking off. I would not like to be these archers right here, if I'm honest. They have like no defense. If any of the Carthaginian like artillery or missiles came this way, they'd be able to destroy these guys just sitting out in the open. They are going to be harassing the Celtic warband as they do make their way through this breach. Are we going to see any of the ballista hits over here coming in hard? I think at the moment this wall is standing firm as more and more of the siege equipment does get pushed up. We do have some actually weaker Seleucid. Are these javelin men, I think? Yeah, they are javelin men, right? Yeah, these guys are javelins. And again, I really like the way that a lot of these factions are made up of these mercenary units. Oh, we just have the boat. Is that like scorpions? Yeah, we actually have some scorpions set up right here. That's pretty cool. Definitely want to bring in more and more of these Ancient Empires battles to you guys. So if you want to see them, make sure to drop a like and a comment. And also, you know, with the announcement of Rome 2 DLC, I really, again, want to, you know, do a lot more of these kind of Ancient Empires-esque battles, because it is just so fun to go back. I mean, this is my favorite time period as well in history. Hands down. As we do see the Celtic warband, they're going to be the first ones over. They do have some barricades to break through first, and then they have to get through these spikes, and then they have to get through the phalanxes. Oh god, that's going to be brutal, trying to break the defensive formations of these pikemen. They are set up perfectly. I think their best bet is to get this siege equipment up onto the wall and then break down. At the moment as well, we also have this unit right here trying to smash down. These guys are the Ligurian mercenaries. Yeah, they're a little bit more heavily armored, and they're going to be trying to break this down. So something I should mention, in Ancient Empires, they've completely changed the way that battles work. Instead of units fighting to the death, they're much more likely to rout and come back, try and kind of keep in that feel of the, you know, kind of more of how historical battles will work. However, you know, when I say that, you obviously think of Warhammer. I think it does it much better than Warhammer does. Units will rout, and, you know, the tiredness really plays a factor into a unit's ability to fight. So if a unit does get exhausted, it's going to fight really bad because it can barely hold their sword and swing. Are these guys routing? Yeah, so you can see that, for example, these guys completely unsupported, and they're going to be getting broken back. They're getting hit by fire arrows, they're getting hammered by every means of projectiles, and they don't have any soldiers around them. So because of that, that's going to be enough to break them back. We do have some siege equipment being pushed up, and I'll kind of talk about more about the morale system as we do get into it a bit more. So kind of some of the things you really have to try and do is, instead of sending lone units, you want to try and send bulk units, because once they have their, you know, their flanks secure and their rear secured, they're going to be much more likely to hold in that fight. As well as that, you know, a lot of units taking fire damage as well do struggle to keep up, you know, keep on the field if they are so ill supported. So you kind of understand that when you make a push for a breach, sending one unit in and being the main focus of all that missile fire isn't going to be great. Oh, we have some artillery going down right here. Some of the ballista fire is actually coming in, looking to make a breach right here. Well, that's going to be amazing, because currently these guys can't actually retreat from here. So they're getting hammered by the Celtic warband, who are throwing their javelins point blank range into the side of these guys. They're going to break down this wall, and then it's going to kill this entire unit we have going right here, who are already taking a lot of damage. You can see these guys have lost close to 100 men, and if this wall goes down, that's going to be it for them. I'm looking to see where the ballista's firing from. So yeah, you can see that this unit of Celtic warband did rout from the field of battle. However, now they've got more infantry being pushed up, they're going to come back from routing, seeing that, you know, they've got men moving up. They're not just the forlorn hope charging in by themselves. If we look at the other side, oh, we can see this tortoise thing has actually broken through a breach right here, taking the Seleucids completely off guard. And that's going to force a mercenary Ligurian infantry against the silver shield thoraxes. And the elephants are also making a beeline. This is a really smart move from the Carthaginians to push forward their soldiers. We can also see the settlement damage is starting to rack up, actually increasing morale the more the city gets destroyed, but lowering melee attack and defense. I love the way they've done that. You know, all hope is lost, but the men are fighting hard. There is nowhere for them to run, and I like how they show that. We also see this part of the wall being broken down. Yes, the Carthaginians are really starting to put the pressure on the cities and trying to really take these guys down. Over on this left side, we actually do have a piece of siege equipment up here, and we are going to have more and more Celtics being made up of the front wall assault. They're going to be trying their best to make a dent against these Seleucids, who are fighting very, very bravely. The Seleucids always look really clean in these games. And they're a really great empire as well, obviously, in history. And I feel like they're kind of somewhat a neglected empire, at least in like most games. Like, whenever you jump into a Rome total war, most people jump to like Rome. They jump to maybe the Greek states, maybe Carthage, maybe the barbarians. But I feel like not many people do go east. And the Seleucids, I guess maybe one because they start off with a really easy start, being such a great empire already. But very few people do go in and play as them. And hopefully in future kind of ancient empire games we get from Total War, we will see, more emphasis on the east, more emphasis on the Seleucids. That'd be great. So I imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of these soldiers making their way down. The pikemen are simply just pushing back these Celtic warband. That's amazing. The balance of power is still extremely even. The defenders have lost close to 1,000, and the attackers have only just about lost close to 800 men. So they still have plenty of soldiers to push through this breach. Plenty of men. And also, I love coming back to Total War, Attila, and seeing these siege battles like this. It's just so much more fun than the Warhammer ones. It really is. Like, this is a truly epic siege. We have 16,000 men fighting it off in a huge-ass battle. Yeah, these guys are going to really struggle to break through this defensive position at the gate. The pikemen are going to be keeping these guys at a distance, forcing them back. They've got javelins and archers. Like, these archers are just shooting down. I like to think they're just simply like popping their heads over, letting loose an arrow, and then jumping back. It's going to be hard for the Carthaginians to break through here. They do obviously have a lot of men, and a lot of elite men at that. The Sacred Band, I guess if anyone's going to have enough strength to break through here, it's going to be the Sacred Band. But I think they're more here just to simply help out and just, try and keep the enemy tired and not really, pin them down more than anything else. As we do have the elephants coming in. Again, the elephants are getting hammered by fire arrows, which is a smart move here by the defenders. Try and make these guys rampage. And if I was Carthage, I'd be sending these mercenary Celtic warband immediately into the side of the Syrian archers. Stop them from shooting my elephants if I can. And we've got to remember as well, the huge defense for the Seleucids is their last stand at their city centre. They obviously want to try and avoid giving that up if they can, as we do have more of the mercenary Ligurians pushing on. One of the really interesting things as well, because, oh my god, as this archer fire comes in, sorry to interrupt myself, but there's so many archers here hammering the position of the defenders right now, as more and more of them are again trying to break through this gate, slowly pushing forward into what I imagine will be some pretty elite soldiers as well. Oh yeah, we have the settlers, basically the Galatian settlers. These guys are amazing. We'll stay on board with these guys whilst I get my point across. So yeah, one of the really, really cool things you can actually do in ancient empires is because units take so much of like a debuff when they get exhausted, you can actually get to a point where you can bring out your first line and stick in reserves, and then bring back that first line which is exhausted, and have that second line take over their position, and allow that first line to then get their replenishment, to then get their energy back, and then obviously boost their stats back up so then they can go back into the engagement. I don't think I've ever seen any mod do that, as we do have the towers and the gates going down, the artillery is pouring in. And it's just a really, really cool mechanic, because it allows you to actually kind of, have a longer battle. Instead of just, I've committed everything and we're going to fight to the death until one of us routs, you have very much this back and forth where maybe you're throwing your weaker units first, but then all of a sudden, you kind of move in your second line to engage the enemy, and then bring your first line out of it. So now you kind of got your more elite units in there, while still having a really good reserve line. So we're going to see some units routing. No, we're actually going to see the forces of the Seleucids making their way out of the city. This is super smart. Send these archers back to whence they came. So with some javelin throws as well. This is going to catch them off guard and actually provide a lot of needed kind of pressure to be lifted. Because I imagine these pikemen were getting hammered by archer fire, which is honestly the smartest thing to do when you are trying to beat them back. We can also use this zoom out mechanic. I should really use this more because it's a great way to overview the battlefield. It really is. So we can see the archers being pushed back and also the traps being initiated there as well. The forces of the Carthaginians trying to push in. We are actually, by the looks of it, getting some men being drawn out of the city centre to come and help. The Carthaginians are breaking their way forward right here, though, at the gate. We're actually going to see some of these settlers being broken back if we make our way over there. Yeah, the settler morale is not going great now. You can see they are tired, so not huge, but because they are sustaining casualties pretty heavily, they are probably going to be getting pushed back, and this archer fire definitely doesn't help. Yeah, we can see some of the really elite units of the mercenary, the Iberian Scutari. It's cool to see the Iberian Scutari here as well. It's such a pivotal unit in the Carthaginian war machine. Good to see them represented. Like, they're not the most elite unit, but they are obviously there in number, and they help buff out the unit. I mean, all this archer fire as well is horrific. This is probably what's doing the most damage right now, is the archer fire raining down on the settlers here, because obviously these guys don't have a lot of armor to at least protect themselves from missile fire. So because of that, this archer fire is going to be causing a lot of damage. I imagine we're going to be seeing a rout. And sometimes by saying that like units rout very often, is that doesn't take away that you're going to have these units fighting down to the last couple men as well. It just honestly depends on their situation when talking about the morale. At the moment, though, it does look like the Carthaginians are doing a great job, but you've got to remember, there's a lot of weaker units out on this front line of the fortress itself, of the city, whereas a lot of the strength of the Seleucid Empire is guarding the royalty in that final city. Stands right there. As we do have, by the looks of it, having the elephants pushing on. Are these elephants? Yeah, these elephants should just make a beeline right here and just smash through these silver shields right there. It's so annoying though. The bronze shields are still holding them. Pikemen just proving their worth. See, we're going to have the silver shields, but they're going to get meat and bent by some elephants if they're not careful. A few of these guys are going down. And a few of the elephants, are they going to be going in or are they going to be pulling back? I think they want to just have a little look. Actually being routed, wow. Why are they being routed? Damaged by artillery. The artillery has forced the elephants back, which is pretty nice. Over on this left side, how are we doing? We managed to make a dent yet? Not quite. The fight is still very much going for this wall. And I mean, the Celtic warbands right here have done a great job at kind of opening up this siege tower. The siege tower itself is getting kind of low. And they just need to do a little bit more damage to this unit so they can funnel more infantry through. At the moment as well, they're getting hammered by this. The Sacred Band Cavalry is getting brutalized by this unit of archers. I really feel like there should be more artillery pieces. I mean, more artillery pieces, not only that, but also more breaches in the wall. Like, this ballista should have made another hole in the wall just to, allow more of these horses to go through. Because say, for example, this cavalry could make their way through this gap right now. That'd be amazing. Thankfully, though, we are going to see this unit of mercenaries rout from the field of battle. That's going to allow this unit of infantry to come round and just either take out this unit of archers or go ahead and flank at the wall, which is going to be so vital. Rest of the Carthaginians are, again, they've bulked up their units so much at the gate, and I feel like these Sacred Band could just be used so much better elsewhere. The Sacred Band being such a tanky unit, they're going to be able to hold off against these pikemen really nicely. But if these guys could maybe go, to each one of these breaches, you'd really be stretching the enemy thin. And even just pushing in this cavalry through the walls as well, that'd be pretty brutal. Some of these javelins, I think, are getting some nice throws off. The elephants have come back from routing, but I don't think the player has realized quite yet. And here we go. We can see the Carthaginian forces making their huge push on this right-hand side. Plenty of the soldiers breaking forward. I think they're going to be trying to come up, they're trying to come up onto these walls just to finish off the rest of these silver shields right up here. It's going to be an interesting fight, but they should be pretty spent, the silver shields. as more and more of the infantry do turn up. There are also a few, brave soldiers right too. I'm pretty sure these are Seleucid men. They are indeed the mercenaries. But again, the archer fire is, I guess this is doing a Ramsay Bolton right here. A lot of the archer fire are hitting their Celtic mercenaries, but I guess they are just simply mercenaries, and the Carthaginians do not value them too high. Which obviously in a historical term would not be good. Why would anyone want to fight for someone, no matter how much gold they're paying? That's great. We're seeing more infantry being pushed up, and it does look like that the Carthaginians are finally making progress against this wall. If we look at the balance of power, we can see that the forces, the balance of power is actually pretty close. I'm not going to lie. Granted, the Seleucids have lost a lot more men. The Seleucids have lost close to 4,000 soldiers. I guess 3,500 soldiers to be more precise. And the attackers have lost close to 3,000. So the Carthaginians are definitely making their numbers count now. They honestly just need to break through this one gatehouse. And did we see the pikemen rout? I think we did see the pikemen being broken, and that's going to be great. That's going to allow the Sacred Band to make their move. And obviously, the Sacred Band, they are so heavily armored. They are the late period, so they're extremely elite. And we are going to be seeing them making their way forward here, and probably just taking down a lot of these Thracian settlers right now, who just don't have the armor to deal with them. Granted, they obviously have that bout sword. Again, the shields of the hoplite probably can withstand a lot of that hitting. And the Falk swords is more meant for going over the shield and kind of hitting back of the helmet and the shoulders and stuff. So it's probably going to be hard for them to really penetrate this armor. You can see the fighting is brutal. And again, if we go to the zoomed out map, we can really see, again, that the Seleucids, the Carthaginians being in red, they're going to be making their way around. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see them trying to make a push here. Some of the archers are being broken down, and that's just down to these towers. I feel like the forces of the Carthaginians should have really just broken down these towers with artillery before making their way in. Now we can see some elephants being pushed out. This would be awesome if we did see the elephants being broken out here. Yes, nice. This is awesome. We're going to be seeing the Indian elephants being broken out. And I think we're just going to go for this huge bit of archers right here. Oh, Lord. This is going to be absolutely brutal. The artillery is also coming in stagnant. The elephants are going to be making their way in and ripping through. Oh, you poor archers. You just simply have been given a bow. Oh, what the hell? Why have they all died? Did some artillery hit them? These guys are being slaughtered, but what by? Do they run into stakes or something? I'm so confused. What just killed them all? I think it was the Scorpions. It must have been the Scorpions, right? No, the Scorpions had turned over here. It must have been. What else could have done that much damage to them? Because, they've obviously caused huge morale debuffs, and we're going to see all these archers routing. The Sacred Band Cavalry, not of the late period, just the normal ones, are only pushed in to fight these elephants. And they should be able to take them down. It must have been the Scorpions. They must have just been a little bit glitched out, because I can't imagine. We saw 5 elephants going down in that charge. It has to be the Scorpions. That is great, though. Seeing the elephants being pushed out. The elephants seem like they're not as strong as I would like them to be. I'd like them to be really tanky. But obviously they cause more of a morale debuff. And again, you've got to remember that these elephants are ill-supported. They've been sent out by themselves. And I feel like the elephants, because they have such fickle morale, need to have units with them to help keep them healthy and keep them strong on the battlefield. So yeah, we're just seeing, we also saw the elephants being pushed out of here. And the elephants over here are actually going to be routing off the entire unit of mercenary Celtic warband. It's understandable because these guys are the armored. Oh my god, yeah, these are the armored Indian elephants. And these just must be so brutal to try and take down. And you can definitely see they're doing with damage. And this guy's just straight up cheering. He's like, yeah, get the hell out of my city. The elephants, yeah, just ruining this unit of Ligurian warband. I don't know how much else there is to even send in to stop these guys, if I'm honest. Balance power, as I said, is still, it's been shut down completely. But as always, the defenders, have lost a lot more men. A huge percentage of their force has gone down, as we are seeing more and more of the elite Sacred Band and the elite mercenary Celtic warband pushing up. I wouldn't be I don't know how much these guys have played Ancient Empires, but if I was the Carthaginians right now, I would definitely be slowing down my mercenary warband, letting them get their energy back. because they are simply just going to get absolutely slaughtered. You can see, because they are so exhausted and they have taken, you know, a fair amount of casualties, they're already on that kind of next level morale. You know, they're on the kind of a little bit shaken morale. They need to get that energy back before really going into combat again. Now, I'm not sure if these guys actually know that, you know, that energy plays such a huge role in this battle, in this engagement. The cavalry is roaming through the streets now, and they're going to be slaughtering these mercenary units. I doubt they're going to be standing a chance against them. Obviously, they have the numbers, but, you know, the heavy cavalry of the Sacred Band is just going to be way too much for them, as we do see more and more men flee from the battlefield itself. The armored elephants are putting up a great fight, and these archers are all pretty much out of ammunition. That is so bad for the forces. The Sacred Band cavalry's had to go in to try and break through and take down these elephants, but they're going to be a bitch to deal with, aren't they? Trying to break them down, you know, trying to kill this. This is like the Battle of Pelennor Fields. We have cavalry against elephants. And the elephants have the advantage of shooting down their arrows, picking away a few of these extra horses. You can see the arrows going in. This is great. I really can't wait until the campaign is done for this game. The campaign is going to be really fun, especially with all these battle mechanics. I think the campaign is going to excel in a head-to-head campaign. I really do. I think it's going to be amazing. And we can just see the sheer dent that the Sacred Band has made into the forces of the Seleucids right now. The bronze shields are going to be getting broken back. The archer fire obviously doesn't help, and the rest of the Sacred Band is going to be running through the city now, breaking down these barricades and everything else. The pikemen are holding, but they have lost quite a few men. And I think that's going to be heavily down to the Sacred Band of the late period. But just having so much armor, they can kind of break through these pikemen. Because one of the things I think is a real big issue is in Total War, just in general, in any Total War, even Arena Total War, is pikes are just so weird to balance. They really are. And Rome 2 pre-patch, pikes were insane. Pikes could kill an infinite amount of men. That you could just send men out the front of pikes and they would just all die. Which is obviously ridiculous, you know. Like, obviously your units, if you want to engage a unit of pikemen, your men just wouldn't mindlessly run into the spears. Like, they would edge close to them and try and, like, battle away the pikes and then try and make their way through the phalanx itself. You know, they try and find gaps like they do in this. And I feel like this is a better way to do it. It might not be, you know, like, super historically, you know, correct or anything like that. But I think there's a better way to balance pikes themselves. Pikes are good at holding down an area, however they can get easily overwhelmed, and if they get flanked, they get absolutely ruined. So we're going to be seeing these Sacred Band finally making their way in. I think they just destroyed a barricade, and that's going to give them a great chance. You know, this Sacred Band, what they need to do now is just break through this position, outflank these pikemen. That should kill them so quickly, and then that should allow them to really push on this final area. Is this barricade going to be going down? I imagine these Sacred Band are trying to attack it. Yeah, we can see the Sacred Band taking down this barricade. That's going to open up the flank of these Silver Shield phalanx. But at the moment, the Silver Shield phalanx can't really do anything, can they? They're pretty stuck here. And you can see the Sacred Band working really well together, kind of pinning off these pikemen, forcing them to drop their pikes so they can surround them and just take them out in combat. I mean, as soon as this barricade goes down, it's going to be pretty brutal. We also have some more men running from here. Oh, we actually just have men retreating as more of the artillery finally comes in. I honestly feel like the Carthaginians should have used that artillery to break down more wall breaches to assault this fortress. Oh, these poor Silver Shield pikemen. They're going to have a bad day. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these guys routing extremely quickly. A pike unit being surrounded, already fighting superior numbers. I think we're going to see these guys routing pretty soon. Actually, how much experience do they have? Because again, experience really does play a role in keeping them healthy. They don't actually have any. They're already pretty tired as well. And then they're going to be getting smashed in the back. So over time, this is going to ruin their morale. Because they're going to start to lose men really quickly. And we're going to see this unit rout very, very soon, I imagine. Also, the fact that this Sacred Band as well has a lot of extra experience as well. You can already see these guys starting to be whittled down. And the fact is, they're not just not doing that much damage. Yeah, they're steady, they're tired. I think if these guys were, if these guys were exhausted, look at that, running from all that way into the battle and fighting. That's probably the only reason these Silver Shield pikemen aren't breaking. It's just because these guys are so exhausted. They're really not doing as much damage. But even being exhausted, they are still doing an okay job. Luckily, though, more of the archers are being pushed up, and we're going to be entering a kind of like a second skirmish phase of this battle, which is great news because it's going to provide the Carthaginians time to rest their forces, as obviously the Seleucid kind of last stand position right here, these guys have been haven't moved an inch since the beginning of the battle, so they are perfectly ready to carry on fighting. You know, they're fresh units, and it's kind of good that, you know, hopefully we'll be getting some time for the Sacred Band to get their energy back. I'm hoping they're going to get their energy back before pushing in, because if they're not, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered. How are the forces over here? I think these ancient armored elephants are going to just run amok, because there's no spear units here whatsoever. We have some of the archers, and we have the cavalry. Besides that, we don't have anything else to try and kill these guys. Maybe some cavalry could come around my flank. Yeah, maybe this unit of cavalry could come around, but I think it's actually more important they come and smash this unit of pikemen, which is about to be engaging the forces. But again, these sacred bands are so tired. They need time to rest before pushing on. But it's obviously not the fault of any of the players. I don't think they've really played Ancient Empires too much, and if they're watching this, you do really need to rest your units. You know, you don't have to rest them all the way up to green, but just giving them time to get their breath after engagement is really important. And when I have a bit more time, I'm definitely going to be fighting myself in a lot more of these battles. And because of all these interesting mechanics, that's why the game, I think, will excel in like a head-to-head and multiplayer battles. Because, you know, your opponent knows that they have to rest units, whereas the AI might be a bit lackluster and just throw everything in. Granted, they are trying to make it work, so the AI is a bit smarter and kind of, you know, has sets to like a couple lines of formations deep, and they try and move in reinforcements when they need to and stuff like that. However, the AI is the AI, right? The AI in Total War is never really that exceptional. Is that cavalry? Where did that cavalry? Did the cavalry go over there? They did indeed, yeah. Trying to take down these guys is a smart move. At least trying to break them is good. There's just no archers left. Now, I think this is a great move by the Seleucids, pushing in. Oh, apparently this is like melee cavalry. I guess it's melee cavalry just with a spear. If the armored elephants have lost like no one, and they're actually going to be routing these horses. I mean, it makes sense, right? The horses going up against armored elephants which just aren't dying is huge. And balance of power is slowly starting to shift. I mean, the forces of the Seleucids have all these elite men left, and finally they've managed to catch up in kills. And it looks like the Carthaginians who are getting smacked trying to assault this final position. I honestly feel like maybe the Seleucids needed a little bit less money. And yeah, we're going to see a lot of these Syrian infantrymen just being routed. Yeah, I feel like in these sieges you need to give the defenders even less money than the Attila default gives. And I cannot believe how this unit of Silver Shield pikemen are still holding. I mean, I can because how exhausted all this infantry is. It is so tired, but they're just not doing any damage. And apparently the pikemen feel like they're evenly matched, even though they're completely surrounded. I don't understand how this unit is managing to hold here, but I'm impressed by them. I mean, they are the top tier. You know, this is a tier 3 infantry, the same as the Sacred Band. And if we look at these, yeah, these mercenary Celtic War Band are there as well. Maybe, oh yeah, there we go. Finally, they're going to rout, which is finally happening. I think maybe what you needed to do was hammer and anvil with the Sacred Band, go back in, hit them hard, go out, go back in, hit them hard. I mean, luckily they have broken now. And again, I just feel like these guys need to rest. Just give them a moment for pity's sake, as Boromir would say. These archers got broken back and then are going to be pushed on again. The armored elephants have just gone in. How many kills did these armored elephants get? 500 kills, wow. And that is hugely down to just not having any archer fire to take them down whatsoever. That was brutal. Do we have the general? We do have the general moving in. Do we have a special general? Yeah, we do actually have Hannibal making their way out. This model has obviously been imported by from Rome 2, which is great to see the generals and famous characters being brought into the game. There we go. You can see Hannibal right there. Amazing looking shield. I love that. Looks great. Yeah, and also one of the really interesting things about the campaign is they've scripted it so that when you first enter the campaign, you're at Cannae. I think it's Cannae. Yeah, I think it's Cannae. You start off having to fight that battle if you play either Rome or Carthage, which is so cool. You kind of immediately jump into this this epic battle, which as Rome is extremely hard to win, but you obviously can win it. And imagine doing that. First turn of the campaign, you immediately jump in, playing a head-to-head against your friend. You're one of you playing Carthage, one of you playing Rome, and then all of a sudden you have to start off with an epic battle. And I feel like that's a really cool idea, and I think that's what Total War should try and do. You know, first turn, I guess it's kind of a bit overwhelming to new people playing. But how great would that be? Just, you know, you enter in, like say for example, Warhammer 2. First battle you start off with a quest battle or something like that. Some like historical battle or lore-friendly battle, I should say, and you've got like an entire army, and it kind of sets the scene for the entire campaign. That'd be like a really cool idea. So it's the Silver Shields up against the forces of the Sacred Band, and again, I think the Sacred Band is just going to get beaten back. They're exhausted, and can we see the differences in stats for them being exhausted out of interest? I'm not sure how much it shows. Yeah, poor stamina itself because they're armoured. We've got them buffs, yeah. These guys are 11, 16, or level 12, 18 pretty much. So I don't think it shows them when they are getting hit with that debuff. I'm going to have to talk to Petelius about that and find out if there's any way to see, or just find out exactly what the debuffs are. So I think that would be much better in my commentary whenever I'm playing this game, to be like, oh, this unit is tired now, and that means they're going to be getting you know, this much debuff to their morale and melee attack. Because that way I can better understand as well how effective units are, you know, fighting with lower stamina. So I'll definitely have to talk to him about that and find out more. Also, let me know what you guys want to see as well in these Ancient Empire battles. Because they just are so epic. Like, just going back to these modded things like medieval kingdoms, ancient empires and stuff, the battles feel like we've had a battle here, you know? I mean, granted, we had, what, 16,000, 17,000 men at the beginning of a battle. 15,000, I got there eventually. 15,000 soldiers at the start of this battle. That is insane, like, how many soldiers? And it wasn't really that laggy. Like, it was a little bit choppy, granted, but it honestly wasn't too bad. These archers are coming round. This unit of archers is looking very, very weak. It is only a tier 1 unit, so you can't really expect too much from them, honestly. And I think the forces of the Seleucids have just cleaned this up. They should just push out now, and I think that's exactly what they're doing. They're bringing over some of their elite tier 2 archers, so I guess medium infantry. They do look a lot better, though, a lot more heavily armoured than the forces of Carthage over, the Numidian archers. I imagine they're going to be notching their arrows and just trying to wrap these guys. Some fire arrows would be really useful just to finish these guys off. One archer volley, finding their mark on a lot of these guys. And the Numidian archers, you can see are getting hit in the side. The archer fire coming in. Luckily, a few of these trees are stopping a few of the arrows, but yeah, they're going to be getting absolutely smashed. We are going to be seeing a nice little cavalry charge right here, right into the back of these pikemen. That's going to be doing some great impact damage there. Killing like 8 dudes, or 10 dudes, 15 dudes? About 15 dudes on that charge, shaking their morale. If they can just push on you. This is really smart by the Carthaginians. Is this Hannibal as well, or is it just cavalry? No, it's just cavalry. Hammer and anvil here. You can see these guys, you know, they've taken casualties, sustained. They've managed to go back up to steady a bit, no longer being attacked from the rear. We're now moving in again. We're going to have the Sacred Band charging in once more. Hammer and anvil on these pikemen, and that's going to be pushing them forward. And not only is it going to be pushing them forward because you just see how many men they lost there, it's also going to, yeah, as I said, push them forward onto the Sacred Band. And now their pike formation is an absolute mess, and this is going to allow the Sacred Band just to eat these guys up. They're going to be getting ruined now. Granted, the Sacred Band are exhausted, whereas these guys aren't. Oh wow, the Sacred Band cavalry actually broke from the field of battle. I guess the army attrition is just really coming into play right now. As for Carthaginians, yeah, the Carthaginians are losing so many of their men. I guess the cavalry saw these archers routing as well and just were like, no, we've had enough there. Thankfully, though, they managed to do enough damage to the Sacred Band, and I think that's honestly what they did, to the Silver Shields. They broke up the formation, allowing the Sacred Band just to slaughter them, and you see that they're down to 80 men now. That was a slaughter. The cavalry did their job. It was unfortunate though that they did rout from the field of battle. It really, really was. Casualties sustained and they're very tired, so that's going to push them back. And again, oh my god, I'm just screaming at the players right now to give these guys a moment. No, what we have some of the heavy spear infantry right here. Yeah, Spathus, I think that's how you pronounce it. Fighting against the Sacred Band, but you know, even though they're being overwhelmed and they're not really in a tight formation either, they're still doing a great job at killing these Sacred Band, because the Sacred Band are just so tired. Whereas these guys are still, you know, kind of fully, you know, like ready to go into battle. I honestly think that's going to be all she wrote. Hannibal is still alive, but what does he have left? He has a couple units of Sacred Band. He's outnumbered 2-1 now. I think we're just going to see a mass rout. And it's unfortunate because the Carthaginians just didn't get enough time to rest their forces, reform up in the city. And that's not the fault of any of the players. You know, Ancient Empires takes a very, very different approach to battles, and you really have to get used to it. And I mean, even myself, I need to better understand it as well. You know, kind of really get to grips with what what each thing does, how tired units get, how that affects them. And I will do, just by playing it more, I'll get hopefully better understand it, and obviously a result of that, I mean, I'll be better to show you guys how it runs and do better commentary. So we're going to be seeing, I think we're going to see the Sacred Band getting routed very soon. They're taking a huge amount of casualties. Fire arrows being pushed in. So fire arrows are really interesting, because in an engagement, if you're shooting arrows in, like, over the heads of your own soldiers, that's not going to be great for them. That's going to cause them some pretty huge morale debuffs themselves. You know, a few arrows might go straight and hit your own infantry in the back, but not only that, you're also, shooting fire, which is going to be lowering your own men's morale. So if you have some low tier infantry, luckily this is tier 3 infantry and they're heavy spearmen, so the fire and morale debuff isn't affecting them too much. But you honestly have to be really, really careful with shooting fire arrows into a group of your own men. You should only really do that if you can break the enemy really quickly, which is exactly what is happening. We're going to be seeing some of the Sacred Band just straight up routing from the field now. Very exhausted. They've been fighting all day. You can see that army losses is coming into effect now, and that's probably going to be it for the majority of the forces here. You can see the army lossing over here. They're just full on routing now, seeing that they're getting the news that their men are breaking from the field of battle. We're going to be having Hannibal being the last man standing, and he's going to come in with one epic last charge. Try and rally his soldiers. Back you fools. Hannibal's invasion is going to go into the general right now, as we do see the awesome looking cataphracts from the forces of the Seleucids. This is going to be great watching these guys fight out. I imagine the Seleucids have this in the bag with their, look how heavily armored their cavalry is compared to the Carthaginians. As well as that, they also have these towers as well. Yeah, this city, Attila towers are so broken. They really are. So yeah, I definitely think in future siege battles, we'll have to give the defenders, just maybe a little bit less money. Maybe like an additional 10% on top of the minus 25% they get just already for being defenders. So we do have a Pyrrhic victory for the Seleucids. Hannibal's crusade was in vain. His push east, he's going to get thrown back to, I imagine he would hold Egypt by this point. He's going to get broken back. We see him right there, actually. And he's going to have to maybe launch another offensive. Maybe the Seleucids will push him. And that was just an amazing battle. As you guys can tell, I'm still very much learning the battle system. And this is quite an old patch as well. Hopefully, I'll be getting a new patch fairly soon with the more updated stuff. And I think it'll be a lot more kind of well-rounded. Stuff will make a lot more sense. And hopefully, I'll just learn the game a lot more and be able to run more of these battles. Because they are just so much fun. From coming back from Warhammer a lot more and playing more of these Attila mods and stuff, it's just really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the future. Because maybe when the forces, maybe when the next mini historical comes out, which I imagine is going to be on the same engine, kind of very much like Attila-esque type thing, then maybe these mods can get pushed onto that new mini historical game where you will have kind of maybe more mechanics and stuff. So the future of these mods, aren't going anywhere. I imagine we might see them being pushed onto a new mod at some point, but maybe not actually because of a campaign map. But then maybe some of the mechanics can get backported and stuff like that. Looking at kills, we can see the real MVPs. We got one unit of these Haspastis spears. I butchered it. 153 kills, very nice. These pikemen, 200 kills. holding their own. The infantry doing okay, the archers all doing pretty decent, and then just these armored elephants, 582 kills. And I think that was solely down to Carthage just not having any missiles left. The Carthaginian forces, see the artillery doing pretty nice. The Sacred Band Cavalry, 156 on this unit. And all the infantry as well, doing pretty nice. The Sacred Band, hundreds of kills. We also have the Mercenary Celtic Warband proving their worth. 269 kills, 250 kills. So overall, a pretty nice aggressive force. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Let me know what factions you want to see next, and I'll see you guys next time.